Looking for the best aftermarket parts and accessories for your model? Look no further than MCV Products. Bring your models to life at mcvproducts.com. Hey everyone, welcome back to Matt's Models and More. It's good to see you. Wanted to go over this 1955 Chrysler 300 that I'm working on, and shout out to a comment that I was showing this car in a previous video about panel lines. That's the car I was actually working on, and I'm to this point, but somebody pointed out that I thought it was a 56 Chrysler. Because Mobius does not put any information. Matter of fact, I will throw up a screenshot of the kit that I'm using. It is a Mobius kit, outstanding kit, absolutely love it. But I had thought it was a 56, just going off memory. Thank you for the comment. Somebody corrected me and said it's actually a 55 because the 56 actually had fins. This one is more rounded off. It does have a slight fin with the brakes, the actual tail lights, but it did not have fins. And here's, where I'm at now. And this is fresh enamel, and something I normally don't do, which is pretty wild. I normally don't use spray cans. I will sometimes, but usually I'm airbrushing everything, and this is the color I use. This is the olive drab from Testors spray enamel. It is a flat color, and I'm gonna put some graphics on this. The wife is actually, I use Frisket paper. I learned that from Irvin Arter. Frisket paper, and she's making the Army military star that I'm going to airbrush on here. And then I've got some words. I don't want to give out too much because the words that I'm putting here, and on the back are pretty neat. And they're going to go along with the whole military vibe. My vision with this was, I go to a lot of shows, and a lot of them are IPMS shows. You see a lot of military boats, tanks, all that good stuff. And they're amazing builders, but the cars get a little bit of love. But I was like, why not do a model where I am actually mixing the military with the hot rod style? So my vision for this is a guy, maybe was in the Vietnam War, maybe he was a general commander or whatever have you, first sergeant, drill sergeant, whatever it may be. Comes back home and he wants his hot rod, and he finds this and decides to build it like a military hot rod. So it is going to stay flat, because after I do the airbrushing, I'm going to lay a matte clear over everything to keep it this tone, and the paint on the top is going to stay gloss. So I'm going to keep that there. I still have to rub that out. I've got to put some compound on it. That's no clear. That's just white gloss. That is a Tamiya white gloss, and I'm gonna polish that out because there is a couple little nibs in there, but that will all come out. But the biggest thing on this to make it sinister is the blacked out trim. So everything is going to be blacked out. And just to give you an idea, I just did the bumpers. Look at that black. Look how shiny. That's no clear. And I'm going to give them a shout out again. I've done it before. Robot Kai Super Black. You got to get this stuff. Where's the Super Black at? There it is. You can barely see it. But KM-02 Super Black from Robot Kai. I will put a link in the description for them. This has got to be the best super gloss black I've ever seen. Do not need a clear on this stuff. It's just absolutely incredible. This is one shot of that in the airbrush, and you'll see snippets where I actually was painting this with the new Turbox gallery compressor that gets, you know, you can use workable air pressure about 10 to 20 psi, so it's perfect for smaller things like this. Here's one of the I hope that'll focus. That's one of the tail lights that go in the back that give it that fin look. So this would be, you know, like right there. So it does have, I guess, kind of a fin, but it's not the body style. It's actually this. But getting back to the compressor, I tell you that on a budget for $56, $57, that compressor for $56, $57, that compressor is absolutely incredible deal. Perfect for smaller things. I don't know if I could recommend it for painting a whole car. That's for sure. You could, you definitely could, but I just need a little more pressure just in case. But that thing is rock solid, great for somebody on a budget, or great for somebody that can't have a loud noise if you're in an apartment. Now I know my compressor that I use is super loud, so I have to be careful, like if the wife's sleeping or something. It's loud in my hobby room. But I mean, that's a great compressor, and it comes with that Gallery airbrush, which is a proven airbrush that's super strong and reliable. That's just a bang up deal. But here's that super black again. This is the rear bumper, of course, that where the tag would go. But look at that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It levels out perfectly. I do put it in the hydrator, but I don't crank it up. I usually put it at about 100, and we'll leave it in there for about 3 hours, and it does just fine. Here's one of the grills. Let's get to the front there. Let's see if I can get a glare on it. So all the trim is going to be this gloss black. So the entire car is going to be, as far as trim, is going to be the gloss black. Now, the tricky thing with this enamel that I looked it up before I did it, because like I said, I don't use this too often. Because it's flat, it does dry faster than a gloss, but I still need to let this gas out and be completely dry for at least 48 hours. And that's even with me putting it in the dehydrator. I just don't trust putting even Tamiya tape on here, because I'm going to actually use fine line first, then Tamiya tape to kind of tape everything else off. And all of this trim is going to be gloss black. And I'll throw up an image of what it's supposed to look like. It's my little rendering I did to make sure that I get everything that I want to do right. But grill inserts, gloss black, bumper, the headlight trims, and matter of fact, the headlight buckets are right here. So those turned out well. And now I'll tell you a trick that I'm going to do with the headlights. And there's probably somebody out there that does it, but I've got a circle jig cutter, and I'm going to take some bare metal foil, circle jig cut out to put in there. I don't want to use any kind of chrome pins or anything like that, because I fill it with resin to give it that real car look. Or I may use the lens and still put the resin over the top of the lens. But regardless, if you put anything on top of the chrome paint that you paint in there for the bucket, it's going to turn silver if I put any kind of Mod Podge on it for the lens or the resin that I normally use. So I'm going to line that interior with bare metal foil. And I can't do that yet, of course, too, because I want this to be completely dry whenever I do that. But then once I put the bare metal foil on there, that won't fade. So that's still going to look chrome-like to give me that real effect. Here is the hood. Hood is, of course, the same color. Beautiful flat olive drab color. I love it. So then I'm going to do some slight weathering. Let me get this out of the way. Just some very slight weathering. I'm almost done with this thing as soon as I can get these graphics on there. Did some slight weathering on the frame, just a little bit of silver metallic. Just kind of dry brushed it. Can't see a whole lot there because it's so shiny. But in my parts tray here, speaking of, parts trays are available in the description if you're interested. But these are Jay's resin wheels, and I wanted these colors to be outrageous. You're going to have the gloss white, you're going to have the olive drab flat green. I mean, I wanted this true, not so much rat rod, but more just like old school hot rod, lowered, red wheels, white walls, but these wheels are from Jay's Resin. I went ahead and put a valve stem in there, a black one, and did some, you know, black wash in there just to give it some depth. But these are some pretty neat wheels, and they are, you got deep dish in the rear, you can see how deep it is right there, and then you've got the lighter one in the front. So those will look good on there. I did, got to be careful with this, I don't want to mess it up. I did scratch build a brake booster and master cylinder. I'm trying not to bend that, so that will go on the firewall. Got just enough room for that. I'm using MCV Products battery, and I've got the, ooh, when I see that on camera, you can't see that in person. I see some lines in there I need to fix, but got the red positive painted, got the negative, got his terminals on there. He prints some really outstanding batteries with the terminals. You need to check him out, definitely. And matter of fact, mcvproducts.com, go check them out. Got the radiator and fan done, and I'm using MCV Products radiator cap. I gave that some metallic. I did like a gunmetal on the fans, did a brass nut there, and you know, just the bolts, did some little detail there. Got all the panel line off that runs all the way through on this one for some reason. Mobius does a really good job, but man, you know, sometimes you'll have that hose on models. This one didn't have that. It actually had a panel line going all the way down on both sides that I had to get off. So that was fun trying to get those off without losing the lines of the radiator top there. And I've got these pre-painted up. Got the rear view mirror and the antenna. I'll retouch those up. I'm going to put some Fusion Firm in the mirror to give it a little more realistic look. A trick to that too is to, when you put the Fusion Firm on there, don't airbrush it. Use its brush and just dab it in there until it starts to kind of level out and spread out, just like what we do. Excuse me. Just like what we do when we do the headlight fills with resin. The Fusion Firm will do the same thing, and it will create this dome look that gives it a real mirror effect. And I may show that once I get to that point, because that's pretty cool. All right, so that's it in the parts tray. Engine. I decided not to use the kit engine, even though it is spectacular. Excuse me. Still getting over my sickness. It is a spectacular engine, no doubt, and I'm going to save it probably for another model. I'll probably kit bash it with something else, but I had this Hemi from MCV Products that I wanted to use just because it's so detailed and so nice. And I got these distributors. Sorry about that. I should have been prepared for this. Bear with me. Hard to find. I'm not going to lie to you. And if you do find them, it's going to take a while to get them. Outstanding distributors. Pre-wired, already in the boot. All I have to do is run the boots from the side, and then I did some wire looms. Excuse me one second. Okay, so as I was saying, this kit from MCV Products is just outstanding. Look at those carbs. But I did some detail work with the lines, the fuel lines, and the linkage, and running the fuel line from there. Then I did the wire looms that go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 and ran them through. I tried to be accurate with this model except for the red. I just wanted the red because in the engine bay, about this much is going to show where it sits, because I had to fabricate which I can't, unfortunately. Well, yeah, I can't put it on there, but this was scratch built. I cut everything out that was right there, and I made basically a place where it would sit right over the oil pan, and right, like I was saying, that little bit is going to show, So I wanted it to kind of go play off the colors of the red of the wheels, the red wires, the red there, and last but not least, the red interior. So, as you saw in that model, here's something that drives me nuts. And I was going to fix it and can't fix it. But look at that steering wheel. Look where it's sitting. I know these aren't real cars and you're not going to drive them, but our goal is to make them look as realistic as possible. That steering wheel is literally sitting on the seat. And I could not get it up any higher than where it was at without it looking kind of crazy, looking like a Mack truck. So that to me, that just bothers me, especially with Mobius being so good with what they do. But what I've done here, I've put some velour. This is, you get this on Amazon. I put it on the dash and on the back tray. It is self-adhesive felt, but it's super thin and it almost feels like velour. And I use that in my woodworking because I will line boxes that I make. Like I'm making an ammo box right now and the guy requested to have felt. So I bought that for that particular build and had a lot left. And this is what it looks like. And you'll see, I mean, it's beautiful and it's self-adhesive. I probably won't be able to get it off on camera, but as you can understand, there you go. And it lays down and it's not permanent. So if I needed to lift back up, if I didn't put it in place right, I can pick it up and move it. But so I'm going to have the red interior with the black accents to go off the black trim, of course. And then, of course, the red wheels, red wires. So I'm thinking this is all going to come together kind of neat. Couple things, of course, remember that compressor from Gallery. I will probably put a code in there to save you some money. I do recommend that thing. It is just unbelievable. And I also recommend, and speaking of, Gallery is, they do, they're not really a sponsor. I'm more of an affiliate. They give me the product to test and review. And I do test their stuff and I am honest. You've seen my videos before. If I say it sucks, it's going to suck. But that's pretty good. That's a real, I won't even say pretty good. That's a really good deal for that compressor and the gun for $56, $57. And I'm not a sponsor or even affiliate with Robot Kai, but this super black paint is outstanding. I'm not gonna lie to you. It would be it's the only black I buy now. I'm getting low. I'm about this much in here. And I just ordered 2 more bottles last night after I painted those bumpers because I was like, whoa, I don't want to run out because it's my favorite. So I ordered more. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I don't get to do a whole lot of show and tell on my cars. I try to, but I'm doing more how-to videos now, it seems like, or reviews. Oh, I did have to fabricate the back firewall. This usually has a big block coming out right here. That would not allow, it was hitting my left side valve cover back here. So I had to cut it out and I just fabricated a piece of styrene in there. And I also cut a hole. You'll see that slight hole right there. And that is for, I'm giving away my secrets and I shouldn't, because I get a lot of compliments about this. Should I show? Yeah, that's my whole point of this show, is to show and tell. I always get compliments on how in the world did you put the lettering on those hoses. All right, secret. My secret is out. I get this from MCV Products, mcvproducts.com. It's if you go to his, I believe it is, yes, it is this. I have a whole box full of hoses that I use, different sizes. So that's it. It's under hood. It's 125, 124 scale, 1 inch. Go for Racing. It's who makes it. And you can see it's got the letters on it. It's got the words. Nothing more realistic. You can even get it in the red with the black words. Nothing more realistic than having tiny writing like that in your engine bay to draw that attention, and people just go nuts over it. I've gotten so many compliments over that, And matter of fact, I'll probably impose a picture here of a close-up of my 73 Mercury where I had that showing, and I purposely tilted the wire a little bit just so enough of the words were showing. Yeah, people go nuts about it. So another little secret, which I need to stop giving out so many so that is it for this week, guys. I'm getting ready to go to Simpsonville show. All of your favorite followers that you look at, Mark Batson showing it. There's a couple people showing about getting ready for the show, because this is a really good show. A lot of good vendors, a lot of awesome cars. Go check out Leadham Racks videos, because he shows a flyer and he shows all his cars that he's getting ready for the show. He's taking like 10 to 12, I believe. It's a lot. I'm only going to take 4, maybe 5 if this one gets done. I'm real close. Today is Tuesday, and I got to have it ready by Friday night, packed, ready, with no paint issues or anything. So that's kind of stretching it for me, because I normally don't try to rush like that, but we will see. We will definitely see. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you. Love every one of you. If you would, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next time, keep on rolling.